Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Amira binti Tafsir. Today I would like to present Chapter 2 Demand and Supply Analysis with the title Demand and Supply of Malaysian Palm Oil 2019 until 2020. So for today's lesson, first I will explain the definition of demand and supply and a little bit about the Malaysian palm oil industry. Second, I will explain the types of challenges faced by Malaysian palm oil industry, which is pandemic of COVID-19, natural factors, adverse weather, and competitive from another vegetable oil. And the last one, I will explain the government initiative to maintain the price of Malaysian palm oil, which is diplomatic relations. Second, partnering with palm oil producer. And third, increase Malaysian palm oil export. Demand. In general, definition of demand known as the desire and ability of consumers to purchase goods and services. Demand is important, especially in business, either in domestic or abroad. Law of demand is the relationship between the quantity demanded and the price. The change of demand, whether increase or lower, depends on what business it is. The change of demand can be determined by the price of goods and services itself, and it is the most important determinants of demand to determine whether the demand shift to the right or to the left. That shows raising or falling of quantity of demand. Other than price, determinant of demand can be identified on changes in demand, and they are incomes, taste or preference, future price expectation, and price of related product, whether they are substitutes or complementary. Next, willingness and ability of producers to create goods and services to take them to market is the definition of supply in economics. Supply is positively related to price. If the price of goods and services is higher, there is an incentive to supplier to supply more goods and services, as higher price can generate more revenue and profit. The change of supply can be identified whether by changes in supply or changes in quantity supplied. Same as demand, changes of supply can be determined by the determinants of supply, which is price, future price expectation, price of inputs, number of suppliers, and government policies. Palm oil industry. Palm oil is a vegetable oil that comes from the fruit of oil palm trees and has two oil can be produced, such as it can produce palm kernel, which comes from crushing the kernel, and also produces crude palm oil that comes from squeezing the fleshy fruit. Malaysian palm oil is the one of the world's largest palm oil exporter and currently accounts 33% of world export and 28% of world palm oil production. However, Malaysian palm oil production will have slow growth in 2020 compared to 2019 due to pandemic COVID-19. This pandemic gave negative effects on the country's economy from global supply and demand shocks and also domestic factors. There are four types of challenges faced by Malaysian palm oil industry. First, pandemic of COVID-19. Second, natural factors. Third, adverse weather. Fourth, competitive from another vegetable oil. First, pandemic of COVID-19. In 2020, Malaysian palm oil export record decline by 25% compared to 2019. This is because of low of demand from major important countries such as Turkey, China, and Italy due to pandemic of COVID-19. This is because the pandemic of COVID-19 can cause reduce in productivity, trade disruption, and can spread infectious disease among the employees. Second, natural factors. Malaysian palm oil is currently facing a period of slow growth due to natural factors. The factors are plant disease and aging trees. These factors have caused decrease in demands and supply. Plant diseases occurred due to microorganisms living in the oil palm trees, such as fungal and bacteria. Fungal can reduce growth of palm, while bacterial leading to death of the palm due to infection of the buds, and the buds become rotten. Decrease in demand and supply will reduce income in Malaysia. Third, adverse weather. Weather is one of the key factors to increase demand and supply of Malaysian palm oil. However, due to adverse weather such as heavy rainfall and flooding, production of palm oil will be disrupted, especially in harvesting oil palm. This event caused decrease in demand and supply. Furthermore, Malaysia also facing extreme weather conditions such as El Nino and La Nina weather phenomena that can destroy oil palm plants. El Nino occurs when Malaysia experiencing extreme hot weather or drought due to low rainfall that may affect economy in Malaysia, include demand and supply of Malaysian palm oil. Dry weather can diminish oil palm fruit yield. La Nina phenomena usually occurs once in 3 or 5 years, and it may continue until the end of the year. This is the most important challenge to palm oil industry to increase the demand and supply of palm oil. Fourth, competitive from another vegetable oil. Other than palm oil, there are also canola oil, soya oil, and sunflower oil that used in the production of oil and fat. Palm oil is clearly healthier and probably a better choice than butter. However, vegetable oil will always be consumer first choice because of its neutral flavor. The competition between palm oil and vegetable oil can change demand and supply of Malaysian palm oil industry, and it will be challenging to increase the use of Malaysian palm oil to consumers. Government initiative to maintain the price of Malaysian palm oil industry, which affects the demand and supply. First, diplomatic relation. Second, partnering with palm oil producer. Third, increase Malaysian palm oil export. Diplomatic relation. Export becomes stronger on a year-on-year basis because of the current government's good relations, especially with China and India. Both countries are the biggest buyer of Malaysian palm oil in the market. Good diplomatic relations with other countries is further supported by the government's initiative to completely exempt duty of various types of palm oil under the Penjana stimulus package. The increase in the Malaysian palm oil contributes to the income of plantation operators and smallholders as well as the country's export income. This will indirectly increase the demand and supply of Malaysian palm oil and maintain the price of Malaysian palm oil. Second, partnering with palm oil producer. The government has planned that Malaysia would be partnering with the world's largest palm oil producer, Indonesia, to overcome the problem of drop of palm oil price in Malaysia. In 2019, Indonesia announced measures to increase shipments of palm oil after it was reported that Malaysian palm oil took hit and it would reduce its export levy to zero from USD $50 a ton previously. Levy export reduction will maintain the price of Malaysian palm oil and increase the demand and supply of Malaysian palm oil. Third, increase Malaysian palm oil export. The government planned to increase export because high export of palm oil also play an important role to get high demands and supply to meet local needs and to increase the country's domestic stock as well as to maintain the price of Malaysian palm oil. The government also expects to get a windfall tax up to 500 million if the performance of palm oil price continues maintained, especially during the outbreak of the COVID-19. High export to India also began to rise due to activities to increase stock in country and to recovery in demand due to the relaxation of the MCO. This project will reduce customs duty on Malaysian palm oil to India. For the conclusion, during the pandemic of COVID-19, a political crisis, commodity export prices, and low oil have deeply affected Malaysia's economy, especially on demand and supply of Malaysian palm oil, and putting pressures on the country finances. However, the government has completed many planned programs to improve the economy and make transformation to digital economy to generate more income in the future, and also carried out economic activities in a new norm during the pandemic.